It's the Biblical Blueprint. It's your boy Reylo. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking this out, man. You already know what we doing on here. If this is your first time, what we doing is we're going chapter by chapter, verse by verse through the Bible to show that this is the best book for life and for business. Today, we're talking about the cost of a compromise. Today, we're talking about the cost. I said of a compromise. Totally wrong. The cost of a promise. The cost of a promise. We're in Genesis chapter 23, and we're talking about Abraham. And we're talking about Abraham after his wife, Sarah, passed. So, before we get into the word, let me just do a prayer. Lord, thank you for bringing us here today to experience your wonderful word. And I hope this touches and blesses people. And please give me all the words that I need in order to deliver this message properly. Amen. Let's go ahead and let's get into the word real quick. All right.
Genesis chapter 23. ERV. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died in the city of Kiriath Arba, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham was very sad and cried for her there. Then he left his dead wife and went to talk to the Hittites. He said, "I am only a foreigner staying in your country. I have no place to bury my wife. Please give me some land so that I can bury her." The Hittites answered Abraham, "Sir, you are a great leader among us. You can have the best place we have to bury your dead. You can have any of our burying places that you want. None of us will stop you from burying your wife there." Abraham got up and bowed to the people. He said to them, "If you really want to help me bury my dead wife, speak to Ephron the son of Zohar for me. I would like to buy the cave of Machpelah, which belongs to Ephron. It is at the end of his field. I will pay him the full price. I want all of you to be witnesses that I am buying it as a burial place." Ephron was sitting there among the people. He answered Abraham, "No, sir. Here in front of my people, I give you that land and the cave on it, so that you can bury your wife." Abraham bowed before the Hittites. He said to Ephron before all the people, "But I want to give you the full price for the field. Accept my money, and I will bury my dead." Ephron answered Abraham, "Sir, listen to me. 10 pounds of silver mean nothing to you or me. Take the land and bury your dead wife." Abraham understood that Ephron was telling him the price of the land. So Abraham paid him for the land. He weighed out 10 pounds of silver for Ephron and gave it to the merchant. So the field of Ephron changed owners. This field was in Machpelah, near Mamre. Abraham became the owner of the field, the cave in it, and all the trees in the field. Everyone in the city saw the agreement between Ephron and Abraham. After this, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of that field near Mamre, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham bought the field and the cave in it from the Hittites. So this became his property to be used as a burial place. Genesis chapter 23, ERV.
So that was Genesis chapter 23. And we already see what happened. Sarah's died. Abraham, I'm sorry, he was Abram. Now he's Abraham. Sarah was Sarai. Now she's Sarah, and she's passed. She passed away at the age of 127. One of the things about Abraham is that although he is a very wealthy man, he's a traveling man. He is going from country to country pretty much. Abraham just kept moving wherever he went. Him and his whole servants, it was just like the earth was just his turf at a certain point in time, right? But once Sarah died, he realized that, okay, this is where we just need to stop. This is where we need to this is going to be my land. And it was in the land of the Hittites. He had a good relationship with the Hittites, and the key in this is that, remember, God had already promised Abraham land. He already promised him land. It was just like where was the land going to be, and this is the land that was promised to him, right? So he goes to the Hittites, and they respect him so much they was going to give him the land for free. And you know what? Instead of just taking it for free, he just went ahead and just paid for it. You feel me? It was the cost of a promise. You feel me? Now, what I have to say about just this whole entire chapter, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about our lives right now, right? In life, you always want to pay for things, especially even when somebody's telling you for free, because I understand free is good, but we already know in business there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as something free. There's always some type of strings attached. And I understand why Abraham wanted these people to pay. We already experienced in Abraham, he didn't want anybody saying that they did anything for him. Everything came from God. So he just stuck with that theme. And at the end of the day, even though they were trying to give it to him, they was like, Abraham, we don't need your money. You know, the silver isn't even worth it. He still is going to give you the silver, because you can never come back and say, well, we gave Abraham that land for this, because people switch up. And, you know, these were evil people that he was dealing with back in those days. So to keep his integrity, to keep everything going, he paid for everything. Always pay what you owe. You don't want to have anybody saying that you owe them, you didn't give them this, or they did this for you, because a lot of times they will come back and hold it over your head and like hold, you know what I'm saying, make it seem like, you know, you owe them something, or return the favor. And that's what I'm seeing in this whole entire chapter. It's just always pay what you owe, regardless the price of it. You know, pay the full price. You know, I have like something in life, in business, that, you know, it just came across me in my mind that I've experienced in my life, right? And it allowed me to realize like the importance of family. I had an uncle. He was a pretty distant uncle. He lived, you know, it was like my auntie's brother that I rarely have seen, right? So my grandfather had passed away, and I inherited my grandfather's motorhome. So I get the motorhome, and you know, the motorhome just sitting there, right? And my uncle, he wanted to buy the motorhome, right? We agreed upon a price, and you know, the price wasn't really, you know, extravagant, especially because it was nothing really, you know, the motorhome wasn't really functioning. I already knew about the motorhome. Like, anytime you drive it, it's not going to really work. You know what I'm saying? It's really something where you just want to put it somewhere, sit it, and just, you know, let it function pretty much. Well, my uncle buys it, you know, we agree, and he fixed it to where he drives it away. We're in Southern California. He was in like Northern California, and he got it all the way back to where he had to get it to, right? So it came to a point where my uncle, he was still giving me payments on it. Even though he took it, he was giving me payments on it, right? So me being who I am, you know, I'm not going to stress you on payments. We family, you know, but it came a couple times where he was just kind of a little bit late on the payments. So I'm not stressing them. I'm not cussing them out. It's family. I'm not really stressing it. But it came to a point to where, if you're watching this, if you are watching immediately, at this point in time, we're in the Thanksgiving holiday. So this was like a couple Thanksgivings ago, right? I remember I was kind of down and out. I didn't have no job. My mom, she wasn't really working. My sister was very, very young at the time. I think she was still in high school. We didn't have no money for Thanksgiving. And, you know, we're the cooks. So people kind of come to our house for Thanksgiving, right? And I remember going and having a meeting with my mom and my sister. And I was like, I don't know what we're going to do, y'all, because I don't got the money. And we just looked at each other. And, we kind of, we had a huddle and we just broke, at that point in time. And literally, I got a text from my uncle. And like I said, he was late on payments, but he just so happened to hit me up and was like, "Oh, I still owe you some money. Here, I'm about to send it right now." So just as we spoke about it, that same day, he sent me that money. And it pretty much like saved our whole Thanksgiving. And it made it to where we had a great Thanksgiving. And, my uncle passed. And I remember this is the only time I can remember me speaking at a funeral. I remember I got up and I told this story to the people at the funeral. And this is all distant family members. I don't even know most of these family members I never met in my life. And I told them this was that story made me realize that you can never discount family regardless of how distant they are, because I would have never expected my uncle to actually do that for me. And of course it was something that he owed, but it was him just even showing me the power of just paying what you owe and not having no debt. Live debt free. Always pay what you owe, because you never know what's going to happen on the other side for that person. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if it's a multi-million-dollar company, you paying what you owe helps people keep jobs. You paying what you owe makes it to where this person isn't going to get laid off. Or you paying what you owe to a certain person. Like I'm just saying, man, it saved the whole Thanksgiving where we was able to feed other people and, keep lights on and everything. Pay what you owe. Pay the cost of your promise. I want to thank you for checking me out today. You know what I'm saying? And if you like what you see, check out any of my other videos. I'm out of here.